Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Wendy. Today we're going to be doing 3 Christmas DIYs. And the first one, we're going to start with 3 books from the Dollar Tree. I got these, but you could totally use something that you have on hand already, or from a yard sale or something. I wasn't sure which greenery I was going to use, so I just grabbed a little handful. I got these eucalyptus stems from Walmart for $2 each, and then the lamb's ear for $2. I think I said one time that they were $4, and so they're not, they're $2. And then this little guy is from the Dollar Tree, and he's already been kind of used up. I got this sweet little angel from the Dollar Tree also that we'll be using. The buffalo check ribbon from Hobby Lobby, some Waverly white chalk paint, scissors, a glue gun, and a foam brush. Oh, and also a piece of cardstock to cover the spines of the books so that we don't feel that indented typing. And then also this Mod Podge and a makeup sponge. So what I first did is, to cover the spines, I used the cardstock because, like I said, the words are, they're indented. So I don't want to, after I paint it, to still see those letters showing through. And so I just measured and folded it and kind of indented it with my fingers and got it kind of shaped and molded to the size that I wanted and into the little grooves on the side. And then using my Mod Podge and a makeup sponge, I just wiped it on one side and then sponged it onto the spine of the book itself, and then placed it on top and rubbed down. And you really want to push it in and get it into the little crease there so that it looks like one cohesive piece. And I really just used this kind of like a glue and just made sure I got inside that opening there without doing the top of the actual spine, with the Mod Podge. So then you're just gonna paint him, and I used my white chalk paint with the foam brush and just gave it a not thick coat, but just enough to cover up, so you couldn't see anything, because these books are going to be stacked, so you won't see like the tops of the bottom two. And you also do want to make sure that you get them in a nice order, so that I had the thicker ones at the bottom and then went to a smaller one, and then at the top was an even smaller one that wasn't the same width or length, so that it gave it some interest. And then you want to make sure that you get on the inside for the ones that are, showing color. I had a black one and a white one, so I didn't mind that the insides weren't, completely covered, but I did paint them just so that it would be a, kind of the same color. But if you do miss some spots, it doesn't matter. So here's where I'm trying to figure out which way I want to do it. And then this is what I came up with. And then I tried to do some different lettering. I decided not to use the cameo just because I think it's a little more personal when you just use your handwriting in certain projects. But just go over it with pencil, because like here, I didn't get it centered properly. So I just erased it and started over. And then even after I put my letters down with my pencil, I kind of just do it freehand, where if it needs to be further to the right, I'm just gonna use my paint pen and make it go further to the right. So it doesn't have to be perfect, but this way everybody can do this project, and you don't have to have a cameo or a Cricut to do it. So I wrote the words gold, frankincense, and myrrh, and I thought that was good for Christmas. And I'm going to use my black paint pen to write in the letters. And then after I get them down, I'm going to go in again with the paint pen, and on the down strokes, you're going to make those lines a little bit thicker, because it would be like a faux calligraphy look. And so I just went all the way through that. And then afterwards, once the paint was completely dry, I'm going to go back in and erase the pencil lines. So even though my letters were completely dry, I noticed that the eraser took off a little bit of it, and I thought it was kind of cool because I was able to give it highlights, and you can't really tell on the video, but I'll show it to you up close in a second. But I went through and did all the letters, intentionally making the erasing lines to look like little highlights. When I was planning this project, I knew I wanted to do some distressing, but I was liking how it was looking already. But I tried underneath where you wouldn't show, or the paint wouldn't show if I decided I didn't like it. But I did end up liking it, and I went ahead and do it. But that's a trick you can do. If there's some place that you're not sure about and you want to see what it looks like, you can test it out first, someplace where it's not going to show. So now I'm going to wrap it with the buffalo check. I went end to end instead of over the front, obviously, so I wouldn't cover my words. But I just glued down the ribbon on the bottom and got both sides, and I pulled it a little tightly so that it does stay together, and I didn't have to glue the books down all the way to each other, just in case I ever wanted to take it apart or something. But here's how it looks. And then now it's time to make our bow. And so you're just going to roll your ribbon over onto itself. I was checking the size that I wanted to make sure it wasn't too big or too small. And then just do 3 loops on both sides. And then I left a little bit of a tail on either end so that they would kind of hang out. And I had a viewer tell me to start using pipe cleaners. She called it paddle wire. I've never heard that, but maybe she meant regular wire. I don't know. Let me know. I can't remember. So then I'm just gonna pull it apart and fluff it out. And as always, you'll do this a million times, but just to get it situated and see how it's gonna look on top. And then I just dovetailed the ends and placed it on top to see that it was the right, size. And so I dismantled the little pieces of the greenery, the Christmas greenery from the Dollar Tree, and then put that underneath the lamb's ear and just hot glued it on top, and then kind of folded over the edge, and then did the same with the lamb's ear. And I cut off the stems so that it would fit. And then I like to turn over the leaves that are on one side because they're facing down. So just cut those off with some wire cutters or even scissors that aren't your good scissors, and then hot glue those to the top, facing up. Then go ahead and put your bow on top of that, and I like to push it into the glue. And it won't burn you if you're using the bow itself to push it down. So here's our little angel, and she's going to go on top. And then just to add a little bit of color, I took some of those red berries from the Dollar Tree and tucked those under the ribbon. And these are kind of hard to bend. They don't really bend well, but you can kind of do it and finagle it in there so that it's not just sticking straight out. So the little angel, as much as I just loved her, I didn't like the color of her dress. The wings weren't so bad, but I decided to give her a little fur coat, and I just used the Waverly chalk paint kind of as the adhesive. I first painted her and gave her a base coat, and then her coloring on her skin was kind of like an orangey color, and again, you can't really tell on the video. So I had a second one because I didn't want to ruin the one that I had already dressed up. So here I'm showing you the difference, and I think it looks so much better. She looks more like a porcelain doll. So anyway, I just hot glued her to the top of the books in the back, and then gave a little bit of white paint to snowy up those branches. And then I had this from an old gift tag that I got for Christmas from my sister-in-law one year, and I knew I was going to use that one day, and I did. So here it is, all done, and I think it turned out really cute, and I can teach my grandkids how to spell frankincense and myrrh. And it, you know, celebrates the season and the reason. I forgot to mention that what I used to cover her dress is that snow, it's like snowy confetti that you get at the Dollar Tree. So this next DIY, I'm going to be putting some vinyl lettering on these Dollar Tree coffee mugs, and I just used my Cameo silhouette, and in the suite I typed up with my messages. One says happy birthday Jesus, the other one says Jesus is the reason, and then I did Mary on one and Bright on the other. I got those fonts from defont.com, and I'll put a link to their site in the description box, as well as the fonts that I used. So after it was done cutting, I pulled up the vinyl, and the letters were very small, so you have to be pretty patient with it, and I just used my fingernail to get the super skinny pieces of the words to stay down, and then weeded out the rest of the letters. Once you get it all the way weeded and done, you take a piece of transfer tape, and I sure appreciate everybody telling me to use the Dollar Tree contact paper, and you can also get it at Walmart. And here's how they turned out. Hopefully I'll have another video to show that, and there's some other ones too that you can check that out. So now for this project, we're going to use this board that is pre-made. I got this from Walmart, and they have these in the, it's like the wedding area and craft area, and it's really sturdy, really well made, and it's very porous on the top. So we're going to use that. And then I found this roving yarn. I don't know what roving means, but it is so soft. I absolutely loved it. It was like $16.97. It's something like, oh yeah, 78 yards, but I knew I wanted to do something with it. So again, we're going to be using our black and white buffalo check wire edged ribbon, some jute twine that I got also from Walmart, and then this is just a used sponge brush, and then your glue gun and scissors and all the other stuff, and we'll use more too. I broke off the top of the sponge because I'm going to use the bottom for a tree trunk, and so I'm going to wrap it with the jute twine after I glued it, and then just wrapped it all the way down. I wrapped a bunch and then pushed it up so that it didn't take quite as long. And then once you get to the end, you're just going to snip it off and take your glue gun and put it together, and then put some glue on the back side of it and lay it down on your piece of board. And then using that roving stuff, I'm gonna start at the trunk, and then I'm just gonna weave in and out, just going back and forth, and we're going to make the shape of a Christmas tree. Once I got the general shape of the tree, I decided I wanted to be a little tighter so that there wasn't as much wood showing, and you could really get the idea of the beautiful texture of the fibers. And so I just tightened it up and then went all the way to the top and glued him down. I wasn't sure how I was going to do this or if it would stick very well, but it did, and it didn't show through, because you know how sometimes you can make something white turn yellow with the hot glue. So it's kind of messy, and it was wanting to stick on everything, including the tip of the glue gun, but I figured out a way to make it go a lot quicker, and I just pulled up an entire side or a section and hot glued it and then pushed it back down, because it's like kind of sticks to the wood anyway, because it's the wood has all that texture. So now I used a Dollar Tree scarf, buffalo check scarf, and some cotton, just some cotton balls. And this was actually an afterthought. I didn't plan this, but I knew that the little tree trunk needed more. And so I wrapped those cotton balls in a square piece and had the front side with the edging of the scarf, and then just took a piece of jute twine and tied it around, not too tightly though, because the trunk wouldn't come up off, after I had glued it down. So I was just gonna make it look like it was wrapped in the little bag there. So I just used some hot glue and put that down over the tree trunk, and then tucked in the back side where I had cut the fabric, so it was a raw edge, and then just added a little bit of greenery from another ornament and dismantled that, hot glued him to the top of the bag there, and then added some more greenery from another ornament, and then used the jute twine to make a little bow, and then just cut off the edges and put some embellishments on top from that ornament. So while you're watching me make yet another bow, I thought this would be a good time to let you know that I plan on doing a Cricut giveaway on December 1st. I had so many viewers tell me that they wished they had some kind of cutter, and since I've gotten a Cameo, I still have my Cricut that I keep for certain jobs. So I'm going to be giving a Cricut away, like I said, on December 1st, which is actually my wedding anniversary. And so I'll give you more details about that, but I just appreciate you guys so much, and so I want to do something that may help. And it's brand new and comes with cartridges, and it's a good little setup to get you started, and the possibilities are endless with all the things that you can do. So here I'm just adding my bow to the top, and we're gonna spread him out and get him all fluffed up, and make sure you push into the glue just so that it gets a really good adhesion. And then I just put a little glue dot on each side to get those tails to kind of stick up, and then I'm going to then add our little ornaments. And for those, I'm going to use these push pins that I got at Dollar Tree, and the wood is just soft enough that you can press them in and just do it randomly. You could do it in a pattern if you wanted. I liked the random look. Every now and then you'll hit a little knot, and so you can't put it there, but just find a place and scatter those around. Now I'm just putting a piece of jute twine on the back to hang it with, and I just added some hot glue, and then I didn't like how it was ugly on the back, so I just, to give it a little more reinforcement, I put a little piece of burlap over that and glued it down so that it was nice and stable, and then cut off the little excess jute twine, and then took off the tag, and then used my staple gun to staple into the jute. And here it is hung up over my blanket ladder, and I love it. I think it looks so cute, and I hope you guys like it. if you enjoyed these projects, I sure would appreciate if you would hit that subscribe button. Leave me a comment, let me know what you think. I'm loving reading all of them and trying to get back to everyone. Thank you so much for watching. Have a blessed day, and we'll see you next time. Bye.